My name is Emily Craddock, and this is my Teachers in Action project. So, my project consists of collecting donations for the House of Hope families. The House of Hope, they provide housing, or if they can't provide housing, they provide what they can, with donations of what people donate all the time: food, hygiene products, clothes, everything a family would need in the real world. This project was meant to assist families with special needs children, just to make their lives a little bit more easier, especially during these trying times, because we know that this is probably some of the hardest times that people are facing in their entire lives right now, because the entire world is changing because of the coronavirus and everything else that is going on in the world currently. And I also thought this project would be really good to raise awareness about homeless families who have children with special needs, because if I'm going to be very honest with you, when I was researching projects, I didn't even think about the fact that there are families out there with kids who are autistic, or kids who have Down syndrome, or who have some type of intellectual or learning disability, which makes, being homeless is already hard enough. Being homeless with a child is even harder. Being homeless with a child who has special needs is the hardest out of all of those things that I just mentioned. So that's why I chose to do this project. So before starting, I did a little bit of background research and found that 1.4 million children in the public schools experience homelessness. And out of that 1.4 million, 18% of those children have special needs. And just upon looking at that number, 18% of 1.4 million might not seem that large and that crazy, but that is a lot of children that have special needs that are homeless when it is broken down. And sometimes these students are sharing, or their families are sharing housing with other people, and if they're not, they sometimes have to live in their cars, and that's just not good for their lifestyle and for their development of their educational needs. So I wanted to do what I could to help them possibly get out of that situation, or at least make it a little easier, the day-to-day motions that they're going through. This was important to me because when I thought about the basics of it, being homeless is already hard enough. Having a special need, it makes your life harder. It's not a lie. It does make your life harder. Do we learn to live with it, and do we learn how to manage? Yes, of course. But if you have a special need, and then on top of that you're homeless, and on top of that there's no one to help you, you're going to feel like you're drowning. The parents are going to feel like they're drowning, or the guardian. The children's going to feel like they're drowning, and that's not good for anyone involved. So I felt like helping children, helping their families, having them realize, hey, there are people out there that want to help us, and that know we're here, and that, believe in us to get out of this situation, and are going to try their best to do what they can to help us. And I feel like that promotes confidence, that promotes personal empowerment, and it could possibly in the end provide more opportunities depending on where, our help gets them. And it doesn't have to be anything. You don't have to donate $1 million. A little gets a long way, especially if there's way more than one person doing so. Okay, so I, in the end, ended up donating a lot of clothes, food, and other items like, canned goods, like I said, clothes, hygiene products like deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrushes, hairbrushes, hair ties for girls, feminine products for girls, all of that kind of stuff, shoes, socks, and all of that kind of stuff you need just to live on a day-to-day basis. And I also raised awareness on all of the homeless children that have special needs, because you think, oh yeah, there is a lot of families out there who are homeless and that have nothing, and that's sad, but you don't even think about, like, wow, many of these families may have special needs children involved, which makes it even harder for everyone, and just not something people think of right away. I didn't, so I wanted to also raise awareness about that, because it's important. It's very important. So I called the House of Hope to begin with. Because of COVID, I wasn't sure what the restrictions were, if I could or could not interact with anyone. Um, so I called them, asked them about the families that they have. That, they can't give any personal information out, but how many families they're housing, if any of these families have special needs. And there wasn't an entirely whole lot, but there was a bunch of families who had children with special needs, and they said that they're always looking for donations and help and things to make everyone's life better there. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I need to do. So I began by going around my neighborhood canvassing, knocking on people's doors, telling them, hey, this is my project, this is what I'm doing, and I've lived in the same neighborhood for all my life, 22 years. So a lot of the people already know me, know what I'm doing, know that I'm in school for elementary education. So they were very willing to help, very willing to listen. A lot of them were shocked about the statistics and facts that I were telling them about because, like I said, I was shocked upon what I first found as well. Um, uh, Apart from my neighborhood, I have a huge family. I called all of my family members, I called all of my friends, told them this is what I'm doing, get some stuff together if you have it, and let me know. So a lot of people brought stuff to me, and I ended up, going around to some houses to pick a bunch of stuff up. So I picked up bags and bags of clothes, a bunch of canned good mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, that kind of thing in the box, obviously, non-perishable items. Um, and I put it all together, tried to, organize everything, all the clothes together, all the food together, tried to make it easy for everyone just to transport and just to donate. And my last stop was to bring it in, and I had a couple friends help because there was a lot. This is some pictures of me donating. One of my friends there helping me unload some stuff. Okay, so for my reflection, I've always lived a very good life. I've been very grateful for what I have. But, you know, on the news or this project made me see what all of these people don't have. And a lot of the people are still so thankful for the things they do have, even if it's not a house, even if they're homeless, even if they have little to nothing. They're thankful for what they do have. They don't focus on what they don't have, which is a thing that I really did learn in my EEX, I think that's the code for it, class that I'm in right now with Dr. Dan, to focus on, when talking about special needs, we like to focus on the abilities that they do have, not the disabilities of what they can't do. So it was really refreshing to see people focus on what they do have and not what they don't. Um, it's just mind blowing to me how not everybody has access to a toothbrush every day, or if they want to go take a shower, they might have to just rinse off with water because they don't have body wash because they can't afford body wash. And for girls with feminine products, if they don't have them, they don't have them. And that is something that just made me so sad. And so I really tried to come up with things like that and donate stuff like that that people need, not cool things like watches and makeup, not that kind of stuff. Things that people need to live. And like I said before, I've come across many homeless people in my lifetime. Since I was a kid, if I saw homeless people on the street, I would always ask my mom if we could give them food or bring them money. I would be worried about them, but what I didn't think about was that there's families out there that have kids, babies, toddlers, elementary students. Ugh, it's just so sad. And to know that even, just me and what I did, giving it some food and some clothes and basic products that people need to live every day takes that weight off their shoulders. That makes me feel good and like I'm changing the world just a little bit. Just a little bit. And if one thing I can do improves their quality of life or keeps stress off their shoulders, then it's all worth it. So another thing that I include in some of the things that I donated, since This was based around kids with special needs, were sensory mats. I used to have a Mother's Day Out program, and these were amazing for kids who were sensory orientated. They are very easy to make. You just pretty much, oh, it's on the next slide. You pretty much just, you take a couple of the laminating pouches, and I mean, you can do it in a fancier way, but I used what I had at home. So I just took laminating pouches and my, my hair straightener that I use in my hair every day, and you sealed the two sides of it. And you can pour water. You can use just water if you want, or you can use just shower gel. It's up to you. But I think the water and the shower gel gives it a cool texture. It's not too thick, but it's also not so watery. So they can actually like kind of like put some form into what they're touching. And you can add whatever you want in there. Since the holidays are coming soon, I decided to add some pumpkin seeds into one of them, and then Christmas is soon, so I figured that stuck with the festivities. So I used food coloring and glitter and that kind of stuff. You can add whatever you want in it. You can add like maybe little rings or beads, anything that catches the eye, that feels squishy or hard, anything like that. So that was my project. I had a wonderful time doing it. It was very, I can't even think of the word. It was just, it makes me feel so good to know that, what I did, made somebody happy and changed someone's life, hopefully, a little bit. That is my project. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.